Hey, what's all the excitement about around here? Hi, my name's Al Craigie. Let me show you what you can do when you have complete control of virtually every aspect of your MIDI data. Whether you're using a keyboard, a guitar, or another MIDI instrument, the Miditool expander for Windows gives you that control on all the V3 sound modules as well as the Keytron 1000 sound module. I'm using the V3 Sonority sound module, which has a wide variety of 1000 high-quality sounds, and I'm using a Surface Pro 7 for my tablet. The MIDI on my guitar is a triple play set up in hardware mode, and on the floor I'm using a Bluetooth pedal to scroll through the sounds. I'd like to show you how to put the sounds together from scratch, but first let's listen to some of the sound presets to give you an idea of the possibilities. Starting with some basic sounds and then moving to more complex layered and split sounds. Then if you think what Miditool does is amazing, like I do, stick around and I'll show you the nuts and bolts of how the sounds are put together. You know, for years I've done a solo act and I always wanted to be able to have bass guitar on the lower strings. I even rigged up a special pickup on a couple of the lower strings and put them through an octave box. That was okay back then. But now with Miditool, you can put any sound you want wherever you want. You can put it on individual strings, you can put it in certain areas of the fretboard. Let's take a look. Now we talked about the bass. See the sound only bass, 5/6. Only guitar sounds on string 1 through 4. And I have my bass, say, on 5 and 6, so. Sounds a lot better than just a straight guitar, doesn't it? Okay, let's go to piano, bass, and strings. Okay, let's go to a nylon string guitar. Here's a piano, electric piano with a bass. I have a sustain pedal here. Alright, let's go to our playlist of presets. We have Lucky Man. Now Lucky Man, we've put several different sounds within that song, and I can advance those as I need them. So I'm starting out with a piano, and then I can go to my synth sound, then I can go to piano, bass, and strings, and I can go back to synth. I'm advancing that with my floor unit here. Okay? So let me give you an example of that. Start with piano. When I want my synth, I advance that. Okay, let's go to another one. Let's go to, okay, You can call me Al. So again, the bass is on the lower two strings, the trumpets. Okay, God Only Knows What I'd Be Without You by the Beach Boys. It starts out with the sound, it has a French horn. So I put French horn on the first and second string. I put a cello or something on the third and fourth string, and a bass on the fifth string. So let's see how that goes. And if we go to the last verse, it adds flutes. The flutes. So I don't know if you ever heard of a thing called Nashville tuning on a guitar. There's a thing called, you could look that up, but there's a Nashville half Nashville tuning. It's where you take the G string and the D string and you tune them an octave higher. Now, of course, with the MIDI tool, you can just tune those up in the MIDI without changing the string or changing the tuning on the guitar. So here's what we have, and it gives it amazing kind of shimmering effect. I'll mix in a little bit of a regular guitar. Okay, here's a sound. I have piano. But I have a flute. The flute starts on the first string, 5th fret, and goes up from there. So the first string open is piano, 1st fret, piano, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, piano. Starting on the 5th fret, I have flute. It's interesting. Okay, like I was saying, the possibilities are endless, but I've set up a program here, a sound, okay? And I've got the Hammond on the first string, only though going from the 1st open up to the 7th fret. That's right here. Okay, you can see where it's at. Then on that same string, well, let's start with each string 1 through 6. So the Hammond is set up from open up through the 7th fret Hammond organ. The 2nd string I have classic flute. All the way up. 3rd string, I have bass clarinet. 4th string, it's a synthesizer, they call it Belco. Okay. The 5th, a really cool Boys La. The 6th string, electric bass. Now, the 7th sound, not the 7th string, but the 7th sound is a classic flute, and it's set up to only play from the 7th fret up. Okay? So in other words, the 1st string I have a Hammond full up to the 7th fret, and then I have a flute starting on the 8th fret. Okay? And I've adjusted each individual volume and pan. You also have sustain pedal. You can have it only sustain certain strings or certain sounds. So I've got it set up to sustain 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. The meaning not the 7th string but the 7th sound. So if I play a chord, and I hit my sustain pedal, you can hear it sustained only those, okay? If I only wanted it to sustain the 1st and 2nd sound, or maybe just the 1st sound, okay? Or maybe just the Boys La, sound number 5. Okay? And it's really cool because you can have it sustain whatever you want it to sustain. So we'll just have it on flutes. We'll have it on. Okay, so let me play you a little thing with this. Once you boot up your Miditool program, you're going to want to go to Settings right here. You're going to make sure that the expander model is the one you're working with. In this case, I choose the V3 Sonority. You want it in multi-mode if you're using a polyphonic instrument like a guitar or a keyboard. Okay, verify that your MIDI interface is recognized and is open, and check all 6 strings, in this case MIDI channels, are working, and then shut that off. And let's go to the sounds. This is your main soundboard. You have 16 possible sounds or instruments that can play at the same time. To make it simple for guitar, we're choosing sound number 1 to also be string number 1, and so on through 6. If we want additional sounds, we can assign them. Say on channel 7 we want a baritone sax, but we want that to play on string 1 in a certain range. We can choose that. Okay, so right now what we have is we have a clarinet, and when we choose that sound, it shows us a complete, all the categories. So if I go to solo strings, it shows me many different things for solo strings. I go to organ, it shows me many different organs. Okay, let's take a look at our crazy split layer. Okay. Sound number 1, we have a Hammond. It goes up to the 7th fret. Then starting on the 8th fret, we have a flute. String number 2, or sound number 2 on string 2, a flute. A bass clarinet on string 3. Sound number 4 on string 4 is a synth type sound. Sound number 5 on string 5, boys la. Sound number 6 on string 6, electric bass. Sound number 7 is where we got the classic flute on string 1 from starting on the 7th fret. So this would be considered a layered sound because string 1 has, well, it has a split actually. Organ and then flute. Let's play something with this. Okay. Each string, or each sound, has a range, it has a volume, and has a pan. It also allows you to use your sustain pedal only on certain sounds. Right now I have the sustain pedal on 1, 5, 6, and 7. So let's play a chord. My sustain pedal is just sustaining those. Okay, let's say I just want sounds 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Once you get your volume set for your preset, then you have a master volume for that total volume of that sound. Right here. Let's go to our playlist. We can go to a list of sounds or a playlist of songs. If you go to the playlist of songs, then you'll have something like we showed you earlier. Different presets and different sounds within a song which you can advance with your pedal. String 1, we have a classic flute. Let me just show you how to change that. Look at all the categories here of sounds. And each one of those categories has many sounds. For example, if I go to a bass, I have a bowed bass, an upright bass, an electric bass 1, electric bass 2, 3, 4, picking, upright bass again here, jazz bass. You have literally dozens of sounds. There's electric bass slap 1. Well, right now we're programming string 1. So let's just go to a guitar sound. let's go to a guitar jazz 3. That's our sound, guitar jazz on string 1. Let's go to string 2. Okay, back here we'll go to solo strings. Let's go to a classic solo violin, and it lets you choose legato, pizzicato, slow, tremolo. Let's go to a legato. Okay, string 2 we have a classic solo violin. This is string 1, string 2, violin. Let's go to string 3. English horn. Fine, let's leave English horn. 4, let's go to an electric piano. Electric grand. Standard. Okay. Okay, let's go to 5. Let's leave it electric bass fretless. And number 6, string 6, electric bass fretless. So there we have it. Now, before we save that, okay, let's check it. Okay. Now you have a volume control on each instrument. And you also have a pan control on each instrument. So you could be setting, let's say you want the solo violin panned to the left, you just go like that, pans it over to the left. The English horn, let's say you want that pan to the right. Okay, now unfortunately you're not going to hear this because I'm not recording this in stereo, but just to give you an idea of what you can do. Okay, and the individual volumes, you just go, let's say the bass guitar, electric bass fretless, there's your volume control right there. Once you get this, all the volumes set up on each string, then you can change the volume of the whole thing, of the whole preset, I'll call it, right here at the top. Okay? So let's see, we have okay, so that's your sound. If you're happy with that balance, then you would set your volume here for the whole preset. You would click save, and it says save here. You would name that. Okay, I've got it named bass, horns, and flute. So we'll just leave that, and I save that. Now, when I go to my playlist of sounds, see right there I have horn, bass, horns, and flute. So I can pick that. Now, by the way, you can choose these sounds here, or you can choose them with your foot controller. So I'm choosing it with my foot controller. Okay? For now, I'm just going to choose it here. There's bass, horns, and flute, the ones we just wrote. There it is. Let's go back now. Let's say we're on our playlist here of sounds. List of sounds. We want to make a brand new sound. Okay, so we can just, let's just start with this one. We'll go Edit, Sound, and here we have it. Now we're just going to cover over this sound to show you. Okay, now we have what we call layered sounds and split sounds, okay? A layered sound would be, say you want two different instruments on the same string. So let's say you want here, you want guitar, steel, let's say you want organ, Hammond full, and look at all these organs you have. We're going to go with the Hammond full. That's on our first string. Okay. Our second string, we'll say we also want an organ. Hammond full, we save it. Okay. String 3, let's go with brass. Let's go with trumpet solo, standard. So you can staccato, just piano, or standard. Go with standard. So we got a classic trumpet. Okay, let's here go with a, on the fourth string, let's go with the saxophone. Let's go with a soprano sax. Okay. 5, I like to be able to play the bass, as you know. So we're going to go with a bass. Let's go with a fretless, electric fretless bass right there. E bass fretless. And on 6, we're going to go also with bass, electric bass fretless. Okay, okay. So we've got our 6 sounds, 6 strings. Now if we want to layer something, we go to number 7, okay, and we want to layer that with 1. So on 1 we have a Hammond full. Let me take that back. Let's layer it with the trumpet. So let's take a saxophone and layer it with the trumpet. Alto sax, breath. Okay, so then on 7, how do you get that to play on 1? You go to your mappings. You go to 7, right here, and you put that on 1. I'm sorry, you put it on 3. My mistake. You put it on 3 because we wanted the trumpet and the sax on the same string to be layered. Let me double check that. On 3 we have the trumpet. On the 7 we have the sax. We have effects too. I've never got into the effects, but you can have an effect number 1 or number 2, just on individual sounds or individual strings. Don't know how to do that yet. You'll have to monkey around with it. Now I've only just touched on the very surface of this program. This has other things. You have a MIDI player here, so you can set it up to play sequences. It's really amazing. Anyway, thanks for being here, and I'll leave that information for RapSoft. RapSoft is where you would go to purchase this software, and they do have a free trial. Talk to Rudy over there. What a great guy, Rudy. He's the inventor of this software. Thanks for helping me out, Rudy.